Porque Dios permite la existencia del mal.
If you took Dark Souls monsters, some of Elden Ring monsters, some of Stranger Things monsters, and the monster prosthetic creation designs from 30 Coins Season 1, that is kind of the design and prosthetic monsters that you're getting in Season 2. But is the 3-year wait worth it? Let's talk about it. In Season 2, a mysterious billionaire seeks to gather the coins while Parker's wife, Murch, embraces malevolent powers. Vergara, meanwhile, is on a mission to stop them, even if it means escaping from hell. The prosthetic creature designs is where this season shines. This is what we were waiting for. We had a massive cliffhanger. I was wondering how our main protagonist survived, but from the synopsis you can surmise and the Season 2 trailer that there are large sequences in hell, and that is where the prosthetic works really well. The CG and the monster designs are impeccable. If you've seen Hellraiser,
what is it you pray for?
Meld those with something that you get from Constantine, a little bit of the Souls design creations, and have your nightmare juice fueled. That is what I loved in this season. However, not all is right with this season. There are some action sequences that don't look as good as they should. They look like they're lower budget action sequences because of how they are filmed. Some of the blood pellets look like they were shot off before. Particularly, there's a first sequence action with guns right at the beginning of episode 1. You'll feel like, oh, what is this I'm watching? Put that aside so you can get to the stuff that you want to watch, which is all about the coins, obviously, and this new billionaire, which I think you'll find is a very interesting actor now to have in this series, because Paul Giamatti is now playing Christian Barbaro, and he has a malevolence to him, a sort of presence that makes you think immediately that he is the bad guy. And there's a lot of bad guys in this series. It's very rare that you find someone that is half decent. Even our half decent characters are doing things that aren't necessarily good or doing things for the greater good. Now, for me, the adventure in hell reminds me a lot of Constantine and what's going on there. It's sort of badass trying to find your way or fight against the evil even though you are in hell. The character designs that you see there are very realized, well put together, lots of gore and goriness. But don't forget, we're still going to have all those creatures and supernatural forces at work because of what's going on in Season 2. Now, from what I've watched, because I've only watched the first half, I've had so much to watch this week, I can't give a full review. But from what I've watched, the story has gone on many tangents once again. They're trying to draw it all together, and I'm looking forward to what they do with this season. I just hope they wrap it up, because I don't know if people are even going to remember what this series was about. It garnered a niche audience, but because of that 3-year gap, a lot of people are going to have forgotten. I would suggest going back, maybe watching that last episode of the first season to remind yourself exactly what was happening and who was there, because it all centers on the people that were infected in this township, those that kind of are now being tested. They're in a place that the government is sort of looking after them, but not really allowing them to live their own lives for reasons that the story will say. And then you have this billionaire who is also trying to control destiny, as it were. But there are bigger players now involved. They really have seemed like they've gotten a good budget, or someone has just said, yeah, we're going to put everything, all our cards on the table for this season. There's characters in this season I wasn't expecting to see. There are moments in this that gets weirder and wackier, and the creature designs get more and more over the top. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I loved about Season 1. You could pick apart this series if you wanted to. Not a lot of it makes sense. There's no biblical accuracy to any of this nonsense, really. It takes the idea of the 30 coins and gives them a story. And then you add the supernatural entities and force behind that, and you build your science fiction biblical story around that, and you add monsters to it, and you add characters trying to survive that. You add in a sort of antichrist creature character, you know, the tried and tested formula of things that have been done many, many times before. And what you get is a really fun, interesting adventure. You have a lot of dialogue that's not necessary, but some that kind of explains through exposition because they don't have the budget to show it all the time. and you have some interesting characters that are very weird. This is a mixed balance for me. I had the same feeling with season 1, even though I really enjoyed it. I was surprised by the amount of gore and horror, and this definitely has all of that and more this time round. So let me know your thoughts on season 2 when you start watching it. Are you as excited to watch the whole season as I am? I will definitely go and finish that up this week, but just letting you know it's back on, and those first 4 episodes so far are fantastic. We've got a cornucopia of content coming to you this week. Don't forget to check out our Patreon and the stuff that we do with Movies and Munchies. The best thing we watched this week, the Bearded Ones Patreon, that stands just at £1, which we have over 65 videos on there. Our podcast. We also have the full Patreon video on our Patreon, just in case you want to listen and watch. So much on there. Do like and subscribe and all that nonsense if you are still watching here at the end. I really appreciate your time and your eyeballs. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.